Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. So this is the continuation of the Mesillas Yesharim, which is the path of the just, or the way of the upright, by the Ramchal, Rav Moshe Chaim Lutzato. And this is from the Yafa edition from ArtScroll. And this is what the Sefer looks like if you've never seen it. And I will have a link below to ArtScroll so you can check out all that they offer. So this is part number 67. And this is going to be the completion of chapter 18, which is the Trait of Chassidus, which is defined as piety. And last time I talked about what's authentic and not authentic Chassidus. And then just to continue, this is going to be a much shorter video because there's only a few pages to finish this chapter. So now he's talking about the idea of the authentic Chassidus, and how it's true of any loving relationship. So he says, now this phenomenon is something that we can observe with our own eyes, as occurring all the time between all loving friends, between a man and his wife, and between a father and his son. In short, between any two people whose love for each other is truly strong. We consistently see that one who loves another will not say, I was not instructed to do more. It is sufficient for me to do what I was explicitly instructed to do. Rather, based on what he had been explicitly instructed, he will infer the general will of the one who gave the instruction, and will strive to do for him or her anything that he infers will provide him satisfaction. The commentary here says, Rav Matisyahu Solomon Maschelko offers an example. If a father tells his son that the room is cold, an uncaring son may reply, so turn on the heater, or not respond at all. A decent son will turn on the heater for his father. A loving son, however, will immediately turn on the heater and bring his father a blanket or a sweater and then offer him a hot drink, all because he truly wants his father to be comfortable. He needs to hear just enough to give him a sense of what the father would like, and he will do it. Just like we are saying from the last week's video, that somebody like that, authentic Chassidus, is going more. Like if someone just gives you a hint, like, I'm hungry or something, so you make him a whole meal, not like just a sandwich. Like here he's saying, like the father, you give him a blanket, so you do more. Okay, and he continues on. A person who loves Hashem in this way will have the same attitude. Now this same phenomenon will also occur to one who loves his Creator with sincere love, for he too is in the ranks of those who love. To him, the mitzvot, whose directives are revealed and widely known, will merely be revelations of Hashem's broader intent. To recognize that his will and desire, blessed be his name, tend towards that matter. And then, having determined Hashem's general intent, he will not say, it is enough for me to do that which is explicitly stated, or I will absolve myself by doing the minimum that is upon me, i.e. observing the mitzvot according to the letter of the law and not more. Rather, to the contrary, he will say, since I have already discovered and observed that Hashem's desire, blessed be his name, is inclined towards this matter, it will serve as a guide for me to do more in this matter, and to expand upon it in every possible way that I can determine that Hashem's will, blessed be he, desires. So here he's saying, just like you would do for someone you care about, same thing now for Hashem, you'll just go above and beyond and do more. So the commentary here says, what emerges from this is that the Chassid's mindset differs entirely from that of one who has not yet reached this level. The latter is focused on the obligation to perform a mitzvah, and he dutifully complies with that obligation, but no more. The Chassid, on the other hand, focuses on the underlying will of Hashem that the mitzvah expresses, and thus does his utmost to expand his fulfillment of the mitzvah so as to bring the ultimate satisfaction to him, meaning Hashem. And then it says, Sima or HaMesila, and then additional commentary. In a similar vein, Rav Eliyahu Eliezer Dessler in Michtav Me'Eliyahu, volume 5, page 35, writes that one who is not a chassid serves Hashem from the perspective of self. He wishes to perfect himself in the eyes of Hashem. Such service falls under the category of zihirus, not chassidus. And then it says, see chapter 4. You can go back in the videos to see that. The chassid serves Hashem not because he's obligated to or because he seeks self-perfection. He does so because he loves Hashem and longs to please him, not himself. This is implicit in the root word of Chassidus, which is chesed, which means to give of oneself to others. In this case, Hashem, with total unconcern for oneself. So like Rav Eliezer Dessler says, it's not about yourself, it's about Hashem. So you're there to please Hashem. Okay, so he continues on. Okay, so this type of person is referred to as one who brings satisfaction to his Creator. And in Hebrew, you might have heard this expression, Oseh nachat ruach liyotzro. And the commentary here says, the full statement that Ramchal cited above is, fortunate is one whose toil is in the Torah and who gives satisfaction to his creator. If Chassidus is defined by giving satisfaction to one's creator, what is the role of toil in Torah? It would seem that Ramchal has addressed this by stating earlier that Chassidus is founded upon immense wisdom. Indeed, quote, toil in Torah is a prerequisite to Chassidus, for only through Torah study can a person truly discern the underlying will of Hashem and know how to apply it beyond the requirements of the mitzvot. As Ramchal quoted above, an ignorant person cannot be a chassid. We know that. That's also from, I think, Pirkei Avos. I forget how it goes in Hebrew, but here he's saying, in order for you to even know what Chassidus is or get to Chassidus, you have to toil in Torah. You have to learn it. So if you haven't learned Torah, then you're not going to get to it. So I'm just giving my brief understanding of that. Okay, now he continues. So the practical definition of Chassidus based on the above. It thus emerges that the guiding principle of Chassidus is expanding the fulfillment of all the mitzvot in all the appropriate and feasible scenarios and applications. Commentary. In summary, the essence of Chassidus is bringing satisfaction to Hashem through discerning His will and striving to fulfill it in the most complete way. In practice, this means to observe the mitzvot in a manner that broadens their scope so that they are performed with depth and applied to every relevant aspect of one's life. And additional commentary. There are myriad applications of this principle. To illustrate, the Torah prohibits a person from gashing himself or pulling out hair as a sign of mourning. That's from Devarim 14:1. While it prohibits only these two actions, the prohibition is animated by an underlying will of Hashem that can be applied anywhere. The prohibition reads, you are children to Hashem your God. You shall not cut yourselves, and you shall not make a bald spot for a dead person. As explained by Rashi, the Torah stresses that the Jewish people are considered, quote, children of Hashem, and must therefore act in a dignified manner even while grieving. The chassid will extend this attitude to the entire scope of his conduct and will always act, dress, and speak in a manner befitting a, quote, child of Hashem. That's from Rav Isaac Sher, Leket Sichos Mussar, Volume 2, page 432. And another example, the Torah commands a person to honor his father and mother. That's from Shmos 20:12. This refers to honoring them through speech and action, Kiddushin 31b, but does not address the internal attitudes one should have towards his parents. Anyone who observes the precepts of the Torah will serve and treat his parents with respect. But the chassid goes further. He deduces that Hashem's will is that he actually develop an attitude of respect for them and that he cares for them lovingly, as discussed in Note 12. See Sefer also Charedim 9:35-38 and Sichos Mussar page 158 and also Chai Adam 67:3. So here you're getting more information to understand that from other things how to apply it, and the chassid always applies it more, like he takes it to the next level. Okay, now in light of the above, he continues. In light of the above, Ramchal explains the parallel between Chassidus and Perishus, which is mentioned at the beginning of chapter 13. Now you see that Chassidus is of the same sort as Perishus, which is abstinence, except that the trait of Perishus deals with the expanded observance of negative commandments, while the trait of Chassidus deals with the expanded fulfillment of positive commandments. Both of them are essentially the same concept. Namely, the essence of both is to add to that which was explicitly stated. Anything that we can determine based on the explicit commandment that it would be a source of satisfaction to Hashem, blessed be He. Commentary here. So thus, a parush, which is a practitioner of Perishus, views an explicit prohibition as an expression of Hashem's distaste for the activity and will therefore seek to distance himself not only from it, but from anything similar to it. In the same vein, a chassid views an explicit commandment as an expression of Hashem's desire of a mode of conduct and therefore seeks to expand his adherence to this type of conduct. This follows Ramchal's explanation that Chassidus consists of a thoughtful explanation of the mitzvot of the Torah, not arbitrary acts of piousness. Similarly, Perishus consists of expanding one's separation from the sort of conduct prohibited by the Torah, rather than devising new restrictions without a basis in the Torah. See chapter 13. So here he's explaining further, like I think I said already here, that this all has to do with what the Torah already says, not something that you're making up yourself. Okay, and now he finishes here. So this is the definition of authentic Chassidus. The commentary here says, since Chassidus is the fulfillment of the mitzvot in their broader sense, it goes without saying that first, all the actual halachic requirements must be adhered to scrupulously. Only then does the expansion of the mitzvah scope or its performance with more passion, as discussed in the next chapter, bring further satisfaction to Hashem. Rabbi Cheskel Sarna Iyunim. If someone is lax in actual performance but engages in the conduct of Chassidus, he is a pseudo-Chassid. That's interesting way to say it. Since he shows that it is not the will of Hashem that he seeks, but the good feeling he derives from self-selected, quote, pious behavior. That's from Matnas Chelko. So here he's saying is, if you are not performing what you already commanded to you, but you want to be a Chassid, then that's not really what it is. You have to first be scrupulous in the Torah observance of what you're supposed to do, and then you can add to it. So that's important. So now the Ramchal leads us into the next chapter. And now that we know the definition of Chassidus, we can clarify its primary components. And that's going to be BeEzrat Hashem in the next chapter, 19. So now is a summary of chapter 18. People generally do not invest enough time and effort into the study of Chassidus. This leads to the emergence of a distorted picture of Chassidus, where outlandish actions that are foreign to Chassidus can predominate, and where secondary components are overemphasized. True Chassidus, which requires a foundation of deep wisdom, is defined by a desire born of love to bring satisfaction to Hashem, a desire to do more than simply adhere to the explicit commandments, similar to the drive that exists in any loving relationship. It means to discern in the midst of, quote, what it is that Hashem really wants from us, and to strive to fulfill this as well. This is the general concept of Chassidus, and more specific guidelines will follow in the next chapter. And when I was saying this about you emphasize the wrong thing, it's like when you take trying to think of the word. It's just sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. It's not a commandment, it's a minhag. When you take a minhag and make it halacha, and you take halacha and make it minhag. So that's kind of the idea. Like a minhag is something, that people just do. But so really you're going at it from the wrong direction. And we're going to stop here, and I hope and pray that we'll all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.